Yo, welcome back. Last time we found Taria's body and we investigated. Right before the trial, I proposed a theory about Ira being the culprit. I still stand by that. It just seems to make way too much sense. Like the whole thing about her painting the scenery on the cloud and hanging it on the east building, so we would think it was the west building. That all makes a lot of sense. I thought about the lockpick a little. Maybe the tape was attached to like the fucking projector film, so as it was getting reeled in, it would like lock the door or something. Could be something like that. Does make some sense. These two obviously have something to do with each other because the fucking glass fragments are probably from this. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure exactly what the details of this is. One thing I did notice was that this burned paper was not here when we first entered the room after the sprinklers had gone off. Like, remember on the west building, the sprinklers went off, we got out, and then we went back in. This piece of paper was not here. We went in the room at the back, we came out. This piece of paper was still not here. We went to the other building, we found Taru's corpse, everything, all of that. Yeah, and then we went back to the west building during the investigation, and then this was here. So, this is the killer trying to get rid of evidence. One thing I thought of is that maybe this was also a painting, because I'm not clear on this, but after they come out of the storage room in the west building, Sora or someone says, wait, this window wasn't broken before, was it? Did the culprit exit through there? Now, I'm not sure if they mean it wasn't broken before, as in it wasn't broken like a few days ago, or do they mean, or does he mean it wasn't broken before, as in it wasn't broken like 20 seconds ago when we walked in? Because we couldn't, the camera didn't show the window when we walked in the first time, so it's hard to tell what she meant. Assuming she meant the second one, then it could just be that this piece of paper was covering the window, and it showed like the window not being broken, and it like burned during the whole thing with phosphorus, and the sprinklers like made it damp, and maybe Iro just like took it off the ground while we weren't looking and threw it away somewhere else, so it looked less obvious. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't look like it does like paint on it though. It just seems like a white piece of paper. I don't know. Honestly, these two pieces of evidence, it's a little hard for me to explain right now. Same thing with the connecting bridge, because maybe this is just bait. But with my theory right now, the killer does not need to use this bridge at all. Like they do not need to move between the buildings a lot. Ira could have done the whole setup in the west building, and then she goes to the east building. Let's say it takes her like 30 minutes. She goes to the east building. She fucking films the corpse, does all the thing, puts up her painting, and then she goes out, and Yuriko sees her like going to the west building, and they go in together. And from there, the plan, everything is automated, everything happens by itself. So this isn't needed for my plan to work, for what I'm saying to work, unless maybe like the maybe the projector film is in 30 minutes. Maybe it's like really short, so maybe that won't work. I don't know. This is what I'm going with. I won't think about it too much more. This just seems to make a lot of sense. Killer is Ira, or she's an accomplice, but she's definitely involved. If you're not the killer, then it's you. Maybe it's you're the killer and you're the accomplice, but you're definitely involved. Yeah, that's what I'm going with. Alright, let's start the trial. I didn't put the volume back up from when. Let's see, let me put the volume back up a little bit. Should be good. First, let me give a brief explanation of the class trial. The results of this class trial will be decided by your votes. If you choose the correct Blacken, only they will receive punishment, but if you vote for the wrong person, then everyone else besides the Blacken will be punished, and the Blacken who has fooled everyone will graduate from this school trip. Is this like a Korean joke? I don't know what this is supposed to mean. I think this is a Korean character. on his portrait. Honestly, I'm still not used to this new version of monochrome. With Siobai not participating, there's only 5 of us here, and someone among us here is murdered Teruya. We need to find the culprit and clear this class trial. If we don't, there's no future waiting for us. If we put our heads together, we can do this. Just like we've always done. Now then, please start the discussion. I mean, is there even any need to? We already know who the culprit is. What do we do? Mikado Sonoji, you're the only possible suspect in this case. Oh, cutting right to the chase, are we? Well, I've been basically called the killer every trial so far, so this doesn't surprise me in the slightest. To suspect me without any real evidence. I thought we've already learned time and time again that we need to discuss things thoroughly before pointing fingers. Too bad, because I got evidence this time. While the murder was happening, everyone except you and Siobai were together, you see. That's right, hence the only suspects were Siobai and you, Mikado. But according to you, Siobai is not participating in this trial. So does everyone except me have alibis? But if we follow that logic, Sora is a possible suspect as well, no? Wait, what? Are you trying to make fun of us? We just told you that Sora was with us the whole time. But was she really with you the whole time? What? Sure, I wasn't there when you found the body, and I only arrived at this crime scene long after the body discovery announcement, that I admit. But every one of you were split apart until you saw the video and decided to head to the broadcasting room. What? How did you know that Sora, Yuriko, and Yuki, who were all in Sora's room, had each split up. And while they were alone, the mysterious video was broadcasted on every monitor in Ihiga City. After witnessing such horror, you each guessed the room in the video to be the West Broadcasting Room and headed there. In other words, the time we were together was only after you gathered at the Twin Towers. How do you know about all those details? I heard it directly from Sora. Isn't that right, dear? While I was unfortunate enough to not arrive at the crime scene on time to learn about the case, I thought to myself, don't I have the right to at least know what happened? So you say you didn't know? Never telling such lies. You're the culprit and we all know it. I wouldn't be so sure of that, Yuriko. More importantly, I have concrete evidence for why I'm suspecting Sora. Would you care for a duel? Let me preface this by saying I'm not doing this out of spite, Sora. By all means, I would have loved to take everything cautiously step by step to find the culprit. But when Yuriko starts off the trial by suspecting me of all people, I've got no choice but to rebuttal, wouldn't you agree? But can you even fight against my rebuttal, I wonder? Hoo-hoo. I'm fine. My worst minigame. I don't know. Everyone's alibi is empty. I don't know what you want. Maybe this. What's the point of this? I'm obviously not the culprit. If nobody has an alibi during the broadcast like you said, how does that make me specifically the prime suspect? Oh, we're saying this. Okay, I see the contradiction, but again, there's no way you can do it the first time you see it. I can just hold the button down, I didn't know this. I don't have to like press it several times. Oh, that's wrong? Okay. Oh fuck, I'm fucking... I hate this minigame! Wait, did I not shoot with the right thing? I was certain it was gonna be the bridge. I mean, otherwise it has to be alibi list. I can't even see what the fuck he's saying because it's going too fast. Okay, that's wrong too. So it's the monochrome file, I guess. Unless it's... Oh, what the fuck? What? I hate this minigame! Get me out! Get me out! Oh my god. Okay, it... Dude, I don't know what I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. To see Mikado suspecting so much is a little unsettling. I need to consider the timing of things, then I'm sure I'll be able to... Okay. I have to look at the recording, because in the moment, I cannot read what he's saying. It goes way too fast, and I'm like doing the minigame. Let me go back and actually read what he's saying, so I know what to counter. The West Broadcasting Room was the place shown in the video, so those two didn't have enough time to perform the deed. Okay. And the bridge was wrong to that, okay? Then what are the other statements? When the video was being broadcasted, everyone was alone. In other words, the mysterious person in the video could have been anyone. Everyone's alibi is empty. Okay, that's what I shoot. Okay. Okay, I got it. I couldn't read that during the moment. Okay, but now I get it. Okay. Because Yuriko was with Iro. Okay, sure. Oh my god, I hate this minigame. So let me get this straight, Mikado. Immediately after Yuki and Yuriko left the West area, I headed straight to the broadcasting room to film that video? Precisely. I'll give credit where credit is due. Your logic is indeed sound. I didn't have the time and resources to broadcast that video. Sora, what are you saying? However, that also applies to you, doesn't it? Between the two of us, I'd say you're the one with the most suspicious alibi. You're trying to make it sound like our alibis don't matter and we're all suspects. But at least us four can prove that we were in the locations we said we're in our alibis. However, not a single person even saw or knew where you were during the incident. From our perspective, Mikado, you have zero concrete info about your alibi. To use your own words, aren't you in the perfect condition to commit the crime? Sora's right, both Yuriko and I can prove we're in the East and South area, respectively, through our keycard histories. Hirura proved their alibi by me. Is that how the history works? It's never been elaborated, so I don't exactly know how the keycard history works. Hirura proved her alibi by meeting up with Yuriko. That's right, I was running towards the west area after watching the broadcast when I met Yuriko. Yeah, that much I'm sure of. Can you prove you were in some other place when the video was being broadcasted? More importantly, even the people in the south and east areas managed to arrive at the crime scene on time. And yet you arrived way after the announcement was made. What made you so busy, I wonder? As you've established, our alibis are not concrete. I might have easily committed this murder, as I was readily in the west area. What if we go by that logic, you, whose alibi is non-existent, are pretty suspicious as well. Actually, I'd say you'd be in the best position to murder than any of us. You're most absolutely right. Let's not forget about this crucial information. What? Are you for real now? You went all in saying that Sora's the culprit and you think you can get out scot-free? I mean, didn't I say from the start I wanted to find the culprit step by step, from one clue to another? But I had no choice but to present my rebuttal when you accused me of murder out of nowhere. What do you mean out of nowhere? I said that because you are the culprit. Yuriko. Huh? What's up, Sora? Let's stop that train of thought for now. I'm not trying to cover for Mikado, but there are other discussions that need to be held right now. I also do think that Mikado is suspicious, but there's no need to rush things. We can point fingers after we discuss everything thoroughly, right? I guess you're right. Sorry, Sora. Wait, I basically said the same thing. Why listen to her but not me? Hey, Mikado? Do you mind just shutting up and stop pretending that you're helping? We didn't even participate in the other class trial discussions. Trying to be active in this trial only makes you all the more suspicious, you know? Wait, no, you got it all wrong. I've always tried my best in trials. It's just that every time I spoke, I was rudely ignored by everyone. Whatever, how about we start talking about the case more in depth? About the case, then where should we start? Let's hold the question of who's the culprit for now, and try to reimagine how the case went down, step by step. So the summarization of the case, I see, I'll do my best to cooperate. How the hell are you going to help at all? You weren't even there when it all happened. But I at least heard the basics of what happened from Sora. Yuriko, we all agree that Mikado is unbearable, but for this case only, how about we give him a chance to talk? Above all, we only have 5 participants for this trial. With that low of a number, every word spoken from every person here should count. Well, if you say so, then alright. So it is agreed that I can speak freely then. Well then, first and foremost, I think we can all agree that this case started with that broadcast. He's right, the video of a mysterious someone approaching the fainted trio with a knife in the West Broadcasting Room. Let's talk about that video which started it all. It's gonna be the broken window, right? Yeah. Because we're gonna say we didn't see the broken window in the film, so... Maybe the window being broken was not part of the culprit's plan. The video was broadcast around 7 PM. It's pretty established. None of us have alibis. Oh my god, I'm moving so much faster because of this skill. So was in the west area, Yuki in the east, and Yuriko and I were in the east area, right? Well, I was in the north area, in case you were curious. Immediately after watching the video, everyone except Mikado headed straight to the top floor of the West Twin Tower. The door was locked, and so none of us were able to enter. We eventually broke the door down and entered the room. But after the sprinkler incident, Torio was nowhere to be seen. Yeah, and when we entered the East Broadcasting Room to search for him, we found the door. Oh, Torio was stabbed to death. Okay, he wasn't stabbed to death. Okay, I'm going ahead of myself. Hold on, Yuki. Torio wasn't stabbed to death. Huh? But there was a stab wound on his chest. The monitor file doesn't describe any other injuries, and I checked it out myself. Of course there are no other injuries. That's because he died by poisoning. What? The tip of Torio's fingers and toes had turned blue. There were also pinkish spots near his thighs and back. These are telltale signs of poisoning, to be precise, cyanide poisoning at that. I like how Sora is saying this as if she knows this, but just Yuriko told her. Oh my. You could tell that just from those marks? That's amazing, Sora. It wasn't me, it was Yuriko. I don't know it that well myself. It's not like I actually studied medicine. I just heard it from some crazy drunk doctor that wandered into her joint once. I have my fair share of medical knowledge, and I agree to your observation. Cyanide is a chemical suffocant, so to speak. It's a poison that prevents any living being from breathing properly. From the cyanosis to the pink spots, they're all signs of oxygen depletion. Wonderful work, Yuriko. Coming from you, even a compliment sounds disgusting. Wait, if Torio was poisoned to death, what? Then how come that video showed someone holding a knife? Or was that something else? Well, as I said before, there were knife wounds on his chest. Perhaps the culprit poisoned Torio, then created a stab wound on the dead corpse? If Shiobai was here, we would have been able to determine if that knife wound was made before or after Torio was killed. Now, before we get into that, there's a whole other riddle that needs to be solved. Poisoning is a quite inconspicuous method of murder, yet the killer announced their crime knowingly using the broadcasting room. When you think about it, why would you choose to poison someone to get rid of them? The killer's little talent show becomes a bit contradictory, wouldn't you agree? You've got a point. It was as if they were saying, come and stop me if you can. Okay, here's my theory. Maybe it was the culprit's intention all along to gather us at the West Broadcasting Room, yes. What do you mean? Recall that the West Broadcasting Room was locked from the inside. Or what if the killer wanted to emphasize specifically that fact to everyone by having a broadcast be sent to the whole island? And if we think about it that way, holding a knife leaves a much stronger impact than just holding some poison. Right? And what would be the point of creating a locked room and telling everyone about it? When we broke down the lock and entered the broadcasting room, we didn't see anyone inside, right? What? But that doesn't make sense. How could there be a locked room if there was nobody inside? Then that means it seems that the culprit laid out this incredible locked room mystery for us to solve. They say every good mystery fiction almost always features one. Even Emma used it back then, remember? The broadcast wasn't the main show, it was just a small teaser to lure everyone to the crime scene. Before we talk about who did it, it seems like we need to solve this locked room mystery. A locked room mystery? A room that can only be locked from the inside, and only the dead victim was inside when we unlocked it. The mysterious person inside the video had somehow vanished from the locked room west broadcasting room, and now we have to put our heads together to figure out how that happened. You're gonna give me the tutorial every time until I accept it, huh? Why is there... Oh, that's sealed by seed. I was wondering whether there was a seed missing, but that's sealed by, yeah. When we got in front of the West Broadcasting Room's entrance, was the culprit already not inside the broadcasting room? That seems to be the case. But there was barely any time for that. How did they lock the room and escape during a short time period? Oh, I know. What we saw wasn't live footage. You're stupid. I mean, according to my theory, you're the culprit, so you're not that stupid. No, Irua, that video has to be live. During our investigation, we've confirmed that the broadcasting room can only transmit live footage. Is that so? It's not really a surveillance camera, you see. If it has a database, it would actually be able to record and store videos, but unfortunately, our broadcasting room lacks any of it. That means when that video was being broadcasted, at that moment, someone was in the West Broadcasting Room. No. What is it, Irua? You've been staring at me for quite a while now. Eek! Is there something you have to say? No. Disc. If there's something you want to say, then you should feel free to say it, Irua. This is a clash royale, after all. We can only proceed if we each share her thoughts. Well, the thing is, when you first arrived on the top floor of the West Twin Tower, there wasn't anyone there, right? Yeah, there wasn't anyone there when I arrived. But what about that? And couldn't you have, well, locked and left the room, then pretending you just arrived there? How did we leave? What? Try and say that again, Irua. No, I'm not trying to accuse her, I just, thought it might be possible. So you're basically trying to say Sora's the culprit. No, I didn't say that. What do you mean you didn't? The person in the video was Sora, that's what you're trying to say, aren't you? Now that was a surprising remark, considering it came from Irua of all people. As I said before, I completely agree with Irua. You said you were all together after you gathered at the top floor of the West Building. That means it's entirely possible for Sora to do the deed, create the locked room mystery, somehow, and then regroup with everyone. Let's not forget that Sora was also conveniently in the West area when the crime happened. So you're gonna go fight in pairs, huh? We'll bring it on then. I, for one, regrouped with everyone. We don't know a thing about what you did or where you were during the murder. Do you think you have the right to suspect me? Might I remind you, as I was in the North area, I didn't have enough time to do anything. And how are you going to prove that? Yuri and Yuriko's alibis can be proven with the keycard histories. Hiro was seen by Yuriko. Even if you say you were in the North area, it means nothing if you have no witness to prove it. Well, that I have nothing to say. How unfortunate it is that there's nothing that can prove my alibi, isn't it, Fufu? Mikado, you've been trying to pin the murder on Sora ever since the trial started. Don't you think this is very unlike you? Never once did you suspect a specific individual. Are you perhaps panicking? You took the words right out of my mouth, Yuki. What? You're the ones who aren't acting like yourselves. Answer me, what happened between these two trials that made you believe Sora is a saint who's never lied once in her life? The last 4 trials were all carried on through logical deductions and thorough discussions, without personal feelings, that is. I won't say that I'm not the suspect, but there's no real proof that Sora is innocent as well. Have you all forgotten? Once you rely on personal feelings, they will eventually cloud your judgment, preventing us from finding the real culprit. All I want to say is that anyone can be the culprit. I know how much you all hate me, but I would much prefer if you didn't look on me with jaundiced eye. Jaundiced? Like the disease? But Sora would never... Yuriko, calm down. As much as I hate to admit it, he's right that my alibi isn't perfect. Sora. It's alright, the truth will eventually reveal itself. Isn't that right, Mikado? Fufu, of course, I apologize for derailing the discussion with my short pep talk. But let's continue our talk with the locked room mystery. So, Irua just suspected Sora of locking the broadcasting room herself, pretending she just arrived there. That isn't as easy as it sounds. Nah, the door to my room locks itself up when I activate the lock and then close the door. One time I lost the key to a door to one of my rooms and I couldn't get in that room for like forever. What is she even talking about? I guess it's Irua we're talking about here. Sure, you can create a locked room by activating a lock from inside and then closing the door from the outside. That wasn't possible with the broadcasting room because... The lock! Irua, the broadcasting door is probably different from the ones you're thinking of. It's not a button-based lock mechanism, but a lever-based one. One that is locked upon holding the door down with a lever. In other words, you can only lock the door only after completely shutting the door. I see, so if you were to try what Aurora suggested by locking the door and then shutting it, you wouldn't be able to shut it in the first place. Correct, hence why it becomes a contradiction where there was nobody in the broadcasting room when it was locked. Forget the alibis, just solving how the culprit even managed such a feat is an issue right now. This hurts my brain. But the fact of the matter is, the door was indeed locked, with nobody inside the room, right? This is proving to be quite a riddle that the culprit has posed. What method did the culprit actually use to achieve this? We're gonna present the tape. Or not. Are we gonna say that the killer exited through the broken window? How did the culprit create the locked room? Man, I wish Kanade was here. She would have already solved all of this. Maybe to lock the door they used a special tool outside? There certainly are a lot of props in the storage room to assist us in that. Perhaps there was another exit we didn't know about? Wait, I just fired with the completely wrong bullet. Sorry. I'm stupid. I meant to shoot with the broken window. Okay, that's also wrong. That's fine. I'm getting hasty. I should reach through the whole thing first. What do you mean? So Sora mentioned a window being broken, remember? Oh, they broke the window and escaped. No, that's wrong. They did lock the door from the inside, but they just escaped from the locked room through the window. Wouldn't they just fall to death? Do you forget how high up the Twin Towers actually were? Okay, I know. What? I'm... Okay, I don't know how I missed that first one. No, Iro, I don't think that's the case. I first thought of that as a possibility, but if you would actually fall from that height, you would definitely fall to your doom this time. But they could have used ropes to climb down, like they do in the movies. And besides, this is a virtual world. Who knows, you might survive from falling, like if you face through the floor or something. Wait, no, I'm not saying you're suspicious because you've done it before. Please don't take it the wrong way. Quoted Iro, there's zero possibility of that happening. I also considered it plausible and tried throwing stuff out the window, but it actually fell to the ground. Looks like the Tower of Babel was just an anomaly. Why did the culprit break the window? Well, why did the culprit break the window? Did they only do it to make a stink they escaped the window? Was that it? No, the reason they broke the window was because they needed to. And the proof of that is... Perhaps it was because they needed some glass powder? Glass powder? What are you talking about? I found some laying around the west okay. What the fuck did they use glass powder for? I found some laying around in the west broadcasting room. More specifically on some burned scrap paper. The window is made out of glass, right? Maybe the powder was the reason they broke the window. A plausible theory, yes, but why would they even sprinkle glass powder onto that paper in the first place? Burned powder? Glass? That's it, Sora. What is it, Yuriko? There was something bugging me when we were all investigating together, but now it all makes sense. I'll help you out, Sora. Remember the thing I told you about in the broadcasting room? I didn't know what it was for back then. Or maybe this is the key to solving the locked room mystery. I always forget how good this music is. I'm pretty sure I've commented on the music every single time I've done this minigame. The sprinklers and suddenly activated. This time we did panic, but we were so focused on the entire thing. It's weird. What? Okay, we're saying there was some chemical reaction to like activate the fire. Projector film, right? Why does this isn't the first time she's done this as well? Yuriko has shown multiple times that she knows a lot about like chemical reactions for some reason. She's done this multiple times. I get it, Yuriko. It's a projector film, isn't it? The powder that was on that film. Projector film. Yep, as I expected, the powder that was on the film was yellow phosphorus. The glass powder was used to create friction with the yellow phosphorus to cause a fire. We will have fire, and what was that thing you said before? Yellow phosphorus. It's a chemical commonly It's a common chemical that was used in matches and such back in the day. Its low burning point, perping. That's not even, dude. This typos are really bad. Its low burning point made it quite dangerous to use, eventually leading to its discontinuation. How did the culprit get their hand on it then? It's actually easier than you think. The island is a city, and there's literally a place for everything here. Okay, could they not have just broken literally any other window in the entire city, rather than the window in the room that they're using for the murder? That seems very stupid. That being said, I didn't expect you to have such knowledge on chemistry, Yuriko. It's pretty much obvious to anyone who actually paid attention in class. Okay, but how did they cause friction between them? And if a fire really had occurred, how come nobody noticed it? And another question I might add, whether does the fire have anything to do with the locked room mystery again? It certainly does, and thanks to Yuriko that we found this out. The important part isn't the yellow phosphorus, the glass powder, nor the sprinklers. What we have to focus on is that the projector film itself was used to create the locked room mystery. Is that what I said? It was attached to the tape, and then like, as it reeled back, it like locked the door? The projector film itself? Alright, you asked how the culprit was able to create friction between those two flammable materials, right? It was from the ceiling. Oh, it was because it all occurred from the ceiling that we weren't able to notice it, as we were busy looking at Teruya and a horrifying visual. To be precise, it had to do with the sprinklers. The sprinklers in the broadcasting room were shaped like a ring, so you would be able to hang something on it. Now hold on just a minute, you're not actually going to suggest that they actually hung the film onto the sprinklers, are you? How would they opt for such a cumbersome method? He's right, and the broadcasting room ceiling was super high. You could use a ladder, but there wasn't even anyone to use a ladder. Don't you worry about that. Even with the ceiling high and nobody there, the fire was going to automatically occur once we entered the broadcasting room. What? Didn't you all hear what Sora's been trying to say? That's why the projector film was used. They specifically used an old-fashioned film projector that has it go through a loop. Yuriko's right, this locked room mystery is possible only because it was an old-fashioned film projector. The proof that the projector film was used, that it found on the door, should be the key. The lock on the broadcasting room's door had tape on it. Tape? Wait a minute. Oh, so that's how it is. What? I didn't quite get that. What about it? Simply put, this is what happened. They pulled out the film from a projector to make it go through this sprinkler on the ceiling, and they taped it onto the door's lock. Then they sprinkled yellow phosphorus onto the film, and positioned the scrap of paper with the glass powder in between the sprinkler and the film. Sure. Now, what would have happened if the projector was turned on at this point? Well, I imagine the film would start rolling. Correct here, the projector will start pulling the film inwards. And with that, the lock's lever orientation becomes horizontal from vertical due to the film pulling. Okay, so it is what I said. I get it now. So using this method, you'll be able to lock the door automatically just by turning the projector on and leaving the room with the door closed. Yes, and the great thing about this trick is that this state is preserved until someone opens the door. The film won't roll anymore due to the tape on the lock holding it steady. Wouldn't it break? Is it that strong that it can hold on? I see, indeed, this trick is magnificent. But how would you exactly be able to cause a fire from this mechanism? Simple, the film just has to resume rolling. The locked door cannot be unlocked and opened by normal means. Someone has to eventually break the door down. Okay, we could have also broken down like the windows, but whatever. And that's exactly what happened. When the door gets destroyed, the film is no longer held still by the tape. So the film will begin rolling again. Exactly, and because the culprit had set it up so that the film went through the sprinklers, it will naturally move through them when it retracts. On that film, the culprit had sprinkled yellow phosphorus, and on the sprinklers, the paper with glass powder on it is attached to it. Now, what do you imagine would happen if the film grazes the paper at high speeds? Flames? Yep, this is how they created friction to cause the fire. Okay, again, the killer is stupid. They should have just taken the glass fragments from literally any other window in the entire city. When we were broken into the broadcasting room, there was this weird video casted on Teruya's body, remember? That wasn't just for show. There was the video on the film being played right as we destroyed the tape holding it. Of course, there was also the purpose of misguiding our attention in that dark room. Of course, the sprinklers had activated immediately because the flame it had detected was right beneath it. That was the reason why we were showered with water soon after we had entered. How's that? We now solved the locked room mystery. Foo-foo. Mikado, are you, amazing. I applaud your detective skills. I most sincerely do. And to think I was worried you wouldn't make it out without Siobai. Oh, how have you've all grown. Marveling because someone solved your riddle, huh? You really are a psycho, you know that? Oh no, you've got it all wrong. I was genuinely astonished by your intellect, you see. We'll know soon whether Mikado is the culprit or not when we've talked this through. Now that we solved the locked room mystery, it's finally time to talk about the culprit. Hold on, well we did solve the mystery of how they locked the door and escaped. Aren't there still other matters to solve first? Huh, getting feisty. Are we trying to tug on every little detail and hope for something? No, Yuko, he's right. What? The locked room mystery has been solved, sure. We've proved that it's possible to lock the door without anyone being inside the broadcasting room. But about that, there actually was someone inside the broadcasting room, Teruya. Oh, that reminds me. Teruya had disappeared from the room when we re-entered the room after the sprinklers were turned off. He was never really there, right? That was Iroha's painting. So how did that happen? It's probably the sprinklers. Like, you know, how the sprinklers were strong enough to blind our sight with water, right? They used that to move Teruya while we weren't looking. Why else would they utilize the sprinkler into the plan? Kiriko, that's impossible. Whatever method they used, if Teruya had been moved out of the broadcasting room, he would have certainly passed us waiting in front of the door. If it's not outside the broadcasting room, then maybe he was inside the storage? Both broadcasting room had storage rooms, right? Maybe there was a secret passageway between those two rooms. I can guarantee you there was none of this sort. The bridge is the only thing that connects the two buildings. And even that was unusable due to bugs. You see, you were all presuming a logical fallacy. From the proposition of someone moved Teruya away to hold, someone else needs to be inside the broadcasting room. And doesn't that invalidate the whole purpose of solving the locked room mystery? Getting a locked room mystery if the culprit was actually inside the whole time. So what do you suggest we do? How did Teruya disappear? He was never there! He was never there! Kanade would have already told us this if she was here. Every time I see her portrait, I think back to her, man. So now, do you get what's the problem here? If we suppose your locked room mystery theory is true, then you're saying that Teruya disappeared out of thin air. And what if he did? Everyone, don't tell me you're all stuck. Now this is a predicament. At this rate, we'll never even find out what method the culprit used, let alone who they are. Then you use your head instead of leaving everything to us. All you're doing is complaining. Well, it's kind of hard to say anything when every single person in here is suspecting you. Shut up, Mikado. Can you say we're trying to tank here? Jeez. Case in point, you all saw that, didn't you? What would I say anything if this what happens all the time? I knew we needed Siobai after all. If he was here, we wouldn't be Siobai. We didn't particularly like him, but without him, we wouldn't have come this far. No, it's not just him. Kokoro, Kanade, we're all sitting here because of the help of those who are no longer with us. True, Kanade, my goat. So are we really incapable of doing anything without them? Can we even survive through a single trial? That isn't true. We can do this too. Think what Kokoro, Kanade, and Siobai would have done in a situation like this. Think what would they have come up with? What would Kanade do? Oh, Kinjo and Mikaro. If I were them. Those are we saw the smart characters from the second game and then the smart characters from the first game. Yuki, did you say something about the storage room? Huh? Well, yeah, we did find this body inside the storage room, right? I mean, it was in the east instead of the west, but yeah. About the storage room, what do you think made it suddenly appear? Suddenly appear? When we first arrived on the 5th island, there was no door to the storage room in the broadcasting room. We only took notice of it after the culprit's broadcasting. Yeah, okay. It is exactly what I said. It was covered with the cloth, and the cloth had a drawing of, like, had the fucking painting of Teruya's body on it. Wait, no. Even when we entered the west broadcasting room, there was no door beyond Teruya then either. I can't really remember how it was with all the commotion back then. Unless she's right. When that video was being broadcasted on Teruya's body, yeah, there was definitely no door behind him. Was that so? I think I remember it, or not. No, I'm positive. We only found the door only after the sprinklers had stopped. Right, whatever the culprit did, be it carrying Teruya over or making the door appear, the only time we were able to do any of that was only during when the sprinklers were active. But why and how? Forget making Teruya disappear. How would you be able to suddenly make a door appear from a wall with nothing? Virtual world. I guess even that isn't going to cut it this time, right? Maybe there was some hidden mechanism within the room. Like, you know, in mangas where if you push a button, the wall moves to reveal hidden space? Or something like that? Is this really a time to talk about manga? If you don't have the brain, then you should at least shut up. Eek, sorry. Huh? I can't help but get the feeling that something's off. But what about the locked room mystery that we just solved? Sorry, something up? You've been staring up at the ceiling for quite a while. Kiriko. Why sprinklers? What? The locked room mystery that we just solved, why did they cause a fire to activate the sprinklers? Huh? You guys are the one who explained that to us, right? They need the sprinklers so that the sprinklers would make the cloth that was covering the door wet. So it would make it like, so it would like drip down, get all the paint out of it, and we would all see the door. They use a sprinkler to I don't know what word this is supposed to be, but it's not look. To loop the film and hold the door shut? It was only about how the sprinkler's shape and position was used. You can create a locked room using only the projector and film without ever needing to cause a fire with friction from the yellow phosphorus. Huh, you're right. Why did they suddenly cause a fire? They caused a fire to activate the sprinklers. The question then shifts to why they set up such a convoluted mess just to activate the sprinklers. I recall you saying something about the water streams being strong enough to blind your sight. Perhaps they tried to do something in that time? Or they wanted us to leave the broadcasting room to do something without being seen. Do something without being seen? What would that something even be? Wasn't anyone inside the... Okay, I get it. Can we move on? There wasn't anyone inside the broadcasting room to begin with, so even with the water blinding us, there wasn't anything secretive to be done. I think that activating the sprinklers itself was the point. Activating the sprinklers itself? I think the irregularity that happened in the sprinklers activation. These events must be connected. We already solved the locked room mystery. We're not objecting that fact. We're only looking at it from a different angle. Tackle each question one by one and we'll surely find the truth. Okay. We're going to come to the conclusion that the cloth was covering the door. I know. We have this minigame lasts a while, so we have some time here. So Positive Wednesday. This trial is better than the fourth one, I will say, because it is like a real mystery. Even though it seems pretty easy, like it's still a huge downgrade from case 3, but case 3 was like insanely good, so that's not that bad. How can a culprit achieve activating the sprinklers? Wash something off. I mean, technically, all 3 of these are true in a sense, but I think this is what you want. Yeah. The thing that I like the most about case 3 is like there wasn't just one answer. There was like multiple. What's the word? Multiple like false conclusions that you can come up with the evidence, and like the back and forth on that between Siobai and Kanade was so good, man. What did the culprit try to wash back in the sprinkler? The cloth. Or the wall, sure. Why is this so easy? There's like nothing coming for you. Okay. I guess if you didn't have like the Yuri skill, it's hard to stay at the bottom without like clipping it. Why did the culprit try to wash the walls with water? Get rid of the drawing. Wakarimashita. Yay, who was the killer? This seems like a really simple case for a case 5, by the way. Go as case 3 the most complicated. I've got it. I know how Tyria disappeared and how the door suddenly appeared. Really? Sora. The point was that these two things happened at once. It wasn't after Tyria was gone that the door had disappeared. It was because Tyria had disappeared that the door was visible. Care to explain? Do you know why the culprit activated the sprinklers? They tried to wash the wall off They tried to wash the wall off through the sprinklers. Wash the walls? If I may get straight to the point, the door to the storage room was always there. The culprit had just simply hidden it by drawing on top of it. Draw? Wait, what are we talking about again? The Tyria we saw in the West broadcasting room wasn't real at all. It was just a painting of the fainted Tyria drawn on the wall. Hold on, that doesn't make sense. If it was a drawing, you would have noticed it right away. Trick art, so that's it, right, Sora? Trick art. It's something used in hyper-realism style arts. Draw it on the plane, but it looks like it's in 3D. A good trick art can mess with our depth perception to create an illusion the object actually exists. As Yuriko said, the culprit had drawn Tyria on top of the door. It was to make it seem like instead of the door, Tyria's corpse lay there. I see, so if the water from the sprinklers washed away the drawing, then Tyria's drawing on the wall would disappear, revealing the door that was originally here. But would that really be possible? Do we have any proof that it was a drawing? It does sound like something that came out of nowhere. But if the theory we saw in the West broadcasting room was real, then that wouldn't have happened then. If I trace my steps back to reveal what exactly had bugged me back then. Oh no, not this minigame. Oh, I don't have a good track record with this one. I'm taking a screenshot. I'm cheating. I don't care. Okay, I can also just click off the window and it freezes. Okay, what do you want me to... Bork... Body? Body discovery. Right, body discovery. Okay. Yeah, I brought that up too. The body discovery announcement didn't play at that point. Yeah, okay. Where's Ree? Okay, I didn't get stuck on this one at least. The body discovery announcement. Back then, I was too busy panicking to notice, but something was off about it. When we broke down the door and entered the room, we four all saw Tyria's body. Yet the body discovery announcement was not made. Why was that the case? Because it was just a drawing instead of the real deal. You're right, with 4 people discovering the body, the announcement should have been made. But the announcement was only made after we found the body again in the East broadcasting room. Perhaps it was just the case that Tyria was still alive when we found him in the West broadcasting room. Now, the corpse that we found in the East storage room was cold and rigid. Only a few minutes had passed between when we first discovered him in the West and when we arrived at the East broadcasting room. A few minutes? I thought you said it took like forever to get from the West building to the East building. If he had died during this time, his body should have been still warm and soft. Tyria was poisoned, right? Imagine he probably died a while ago. After all, you couldn't find him after searching everywhere for days, right? I agree, Tyria was probably kept inside the East storage room all this time after being poisoned to death. The door to the storage room was hidden by paint covering the walls. So of course we couldn't find him. We didn't even know the existence of the place he was in. This is amazing. We've solved every trick related to the crime scene. So all we gotta do is find the person who did this. I wonder who it could be. The culprit's identity. Kinda ironic, isn't it? All this questioning about how they did it basically reveal who did it as well. I mean, do I even have to spell it out? We all know there's only one person capable of doing this. It's exactly as Yuriko said. The trick was only possible by one individual among us. I wanted to talk more, but now that we've uncovered the truth, we have to reveal that person. The identity of the killer who murdered Tyria. The culprit who fooled our eyes through hyper-realistic paintings and killed Tyria. You've been silent for quite a while now, haven't you? Yuro Nijiue. They love to have the midway point after we accuse the killer.
Yeah, I mean, this show is pretty good. It feels really easy though, is a problem, and this is like case 5, it shouldn't be this easy. I had figured out
literally everything they said in this first half, I had figured out. Except for, like, the fucking glass powder from the window being used, like, to create friction with the phosphorus to create a fire. And to be fair, I don't think that's a reasonable thing to, like, figure out. I feel like you need some pretty specific knowledge to know that that's a thing. But, like, everything else I had figured out beforehand, so... but yeah, next time we're gonna do the second half of the trial and see how it goes. See ya.